You've been a top prospect. When you came into the Contender Series, you had glowing remarks that were said about you from day one. You're a champion coming from other leagues, coming into the UFC. What does this fight mean for you at this stage in your career?
You know, for me, it's just another fight. You know, I'm very grateful for the path that I've taken, and I'm happy to get a lot of the wins that I've got, but each fight's the biggest fight of my career, and right now I'm just focused on this fight, and it's just another fight. I'm just preparing for Mario, and I'm ready to fight the best I've ever fought. You know, I plan to do the things that I do in all my fights, and that's just adapt and overcome. You know, through the years of competing that I've been through, since wrestling, I started wrestling in second grade, been all around the world to wrestle, and just competing my whole life. I think my biggest attribute is being able to adapt and find a way to win. So I've been doing the things that I've always done. I've tried to evolve as well. You know, we're adding some new things into the regimen, but I just plan to go out there, figure Mario out, and find a way to win. I'm studying Mario. I'm seeing the way he acts. I'm seeing his past fights. I'm seeing the way he is on social media, everything, you know, and I'm just very diligent in my process. You know, I think his biggest attribute is his toughness. I still haven't felt like anybody's put me in any real danger in the cage, you know what I mean? But Mario and some of his past fights too, he's been in some danger and people have been beating him at times. I never feel like I've been getting beat at times, so it shows me that he's not that standout athlete, he's not that standout competitor, he's just a super tough dude that's gonna go out there and fight till he can't fight anymore.
So you're not one of those fighters that has to have a chip on your shoulder in order to go into a fight. You can be respectful and you can just enjoy the level of competition that it's at.
100%. You know, for my best fights, when I start the camp, it's always like, man, this guy, like, he wants to fight me, this guy signed the contract, you know. There's always a process, but by the time you do all the work and you've been through the whole process, you realize that you're so grateful to have that person, you know. Like, without that opponent, there is no competition and you're not drawing that out from yourself. Mario is such a tough dude. Watching his fights and stuff and seeing how tough he is has brought the very best out of me. And so I'm just grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for him being who he is.
All right, so I'm here with Lauren Murphy. How is everything going so far, just kind of with fight week preparation? How are you feeling kind of going into this fight?
I'm enjoying the process a lot. You know, this is really important, is to enjoy the process. And we really do have the coolest job in the world. Like, I love being a UFC fighter. I love it. And I also know that, like, our days are short. You know, nobody fights forever. And, like, what a shame it would be to come in here and just waste this time and not enjoy it. And it's taken me some time to learn how important that is. You know, there have been times when I was really tense all the fight week and super nervous, and those were hard lessons to learn, but necessary. So yeah, now it is a lot easier for me to just come in, be totally relaxed, be in love with all of this process, and I think it does make a big difference on fight night.
Having all of my fans, my friends, and my family here to watch me being so close to home, I mean, it's just even more motivation for me to go out there and get the win. Not that I didn't already have the motivation, you know. It's just, it's a bonus.
If we kind of get more into the fight here, you two are both really well-rounded. You know, you're really solid on the feet, you're really solid on the ground. She's got grappling championships on the ground, you're champions in other leagues. So you guys are kind of coming in with a wealth of experience. You've certainly got a bit of a streak that you've built up over the years. And, of course, we're coming off the JoJo fight, but it is one of those things where there are a lot of things in terms of experience that measure up in a lot of ways here. Where do you feel like you're different in terms of your abilities that you feel like stand out maybe over hers?
Probably me just being more technical on my feet. I move my head. I cut angles. I don't follow in one path. You know what I mean? I'm pretty mobile. At least I like to think that I am. I wasn't so much in my last fight. I don't feel like it. But in the majority of my fights, I'm normally pretty mobile. I have decent head movement, and I stay busy. You know, I don't feel like any of my fights have ever been boring or dull. You know, I think that I push a pretty good hard pace.
I hope it's a war. She's so tough. I mean, we're both in the top 10, so anytime you have two fighters in the top 10 in the UFC, it's going to be a tough fight. There's no easy fights in the UFC, and then once you start fighting people with numbers next to their name, then it's like, okay, this is going to be a tough fight. And Andrea Lee is a high-paced fighter. She really brings it. I think she's gonna punch me and kick me a lot. You know, I think she's a pretty good wrestler. She's probably going to try to take me down. She likes the clinch. Like, she's really good everywhere. So it's a good thing that I'm really well-rounded, and I'm super, super tough, and I can also keep a high pace, and I don't know, I'm just really looking forward to it. The funnest fights I've ever had were the ones that were complete wars, so I hope we do. I hope we get fight of the night. I want to end the night with getting my hand raised, and then I just want to go eat some good food with my team and go home and celebrate what an awesome life this is, to be honest with you. I think it would be really, really wonderful.
I believe that that's probably what's going to happen. I would love to have a finish, but I'm prepared for a 3-round war, and those always mean bonuses. You know what I mean? So if it's going to be a war, I want it to be exciting, and let's go out there and get a bonus.
I really think it's going to come down to like little things. Who has the better conditioning, who scrambles better, who moves a little bit faster in that second. And I believe this with all fighters. It's like if you have us fight 10 times, you're not going to get the same result 10 times. You know what I mean? Not 10 times in a row. That's why it's just important to be the best fighter on that night. And especially when you get two people that are highly ranked and highly regarded and have been around a long time, it's like for all of us, no matter who I was fighting, if you have me fight them 10 times, you're going to get 10 different results. I am going in there confident that I can get my hand raised. I know I have the ability in me to beat Andrea Lee.
Man, I watch your videos all the time.
Do you really?
You guys did like a prospects one, and Jeff Neal was on it.
Yeah.
And I hit up Coach and Jeff, and I was like, dude, he's in a video. And Coach was like, stop being such a nerd, Rona. But it was really funny. You guys did another one, cool fights that are flying under the radar.
Yeah.
And Miles was on that one as well.
Yeah,
cool, awesome. I watch y'all's stuff. So we cut cable about a year ago and just stream everything, and so I watch a lot of YouTube now. So I subscribe to all the MMA channels, so I watch you guys a lot. It's this guy's first fight in the UFC on short notice against a guy on his 10th fight. I was literally in the exact same position when I signed. I fought Kyle Noak. It was his 10th fight on 2 weeks' notice, so I know the guy's mindset. And when I fought Noak, I went in with nothing to lose and threw caution in the wind and had some fun and threw down. And so thankfully, that gives me a strong perspective knowing, to take this guy very serious, which I am. So as soon as I got his name, my main coach, Coach Say from Fortis, and then my two coaches at home and myself did as much digging and researching as humanly possible. I know exactly what to expect. I know the guy's history. And yeah, we had a sufficient amount of time to plan for it. And pretty much every fight goes the same. Really, no matter who I fight, the same game plan was with Lima too. We hope for the best, and guys will stand and trade, and we prepare for the worst, which is guys try to shoot and wrestle and hold us on the cage and hold me down. So we work nothing but get-ups and, cage control. So it's effectively the same game plan, looking for a knockout. But mentally, I always prepare for a third-round finish. So if it goes past the first and second, I'm not out of my comfort zone. I'm sure we will grapple. I generally flow and move better. If I was like an odds maker, I would guess a submission, but I'm not going to try to take the guy down. There's no secret. You look at my UFC stats, I got 0 for 0 takedowns. I'm going to try to stand and land a knockout shot.
There's only, 6 prelim fights? There's usually a lot more than that. Sometimes there's 10, 11, even 12. So do you feel like there's an opportunity for you to kind of jump out here?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited, too. There's so many guys from Texas. I have 2 of my teammates from Fortis MMA, so we got 2 guys from Dallas. We got a lot of guys from Texas. And so I'm with a lot of friends on this fight card. And around December, I was checking the UFC schedule every single day to see their quarter 1 schedule, and I saw they had a fight card in Houston. I was like, yes, I'm going to get on it. And then I found out it was a pay-per-view. And then I found out it was a John Jones pay-per-view, and I was just so excited. And I got word pretty early I'd be on the fight card, so I've been training for this fight for a long time. I was very excited. Had a little bit of scare. My opponent dropped out, so I didn't think I'd get a fight. But thankfully, the UFC's the best ever. Sean Shelby especially got me an opponent, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah, this being my 10th fight in the UFC, I learned it is not the easiest thing to put streaks together. It's just a totally different animal. It's a different world. It's a different stage. It's a super different level. It's like 2 levels above what you'd think. And so being on this 3-fight win streak, being with Fortis for 3 fights now, it's no coincidence, and I don't plan on that streak get any lower. I enjoy the concept of fighting to the death. And right before I go into the octagon, I tell myself, this is my last moment on earth. I'm going to die here. Let's make it count. And just the risk that's at hand of, potentially getting hurt or whatever, it allows me to perform to a certain level because I'm held accountable for that potential danger. And last time I fought in Houston, granted I didn't win, but I did perform the best round of MMA in my life. That first round was a 10-8 round. I got 2 knockdowns, and the energy was electric. People say that. You don't really know what it means until you feel it. And I really thrive off of high-pressure scenarios, and I'm looking forward to that walkout. I'm looking forward to those nerves and that excitement, and cannot wait for Saturday. Okay, it's just funny not seeing someone but hearing them for however long, and then putting the face. It was a cool moment. So that's awesome, man.
Did you think I sounded like Joe Rogan? Because some people say that. I don't get it, but
No, I don't hear that.
good. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
Cool.
Good
It's not
stuff.
a bad thing.
Nice
Hey,
to
man,
meet you,
good to
Alex.
meet you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here's one thing. So this is the first event that I've actually been to in person like this. Never really realized that you guys, as you're kind of going in from your interviews, you guys actually face off in the middle. So you've just faced off with your opponent. How does that kind of affect your headspace currently right now? Like, are you feeling amped up? Or are you just feeling ready to go?
You know, as a fighter, we're used to this. This is a part of the job to face your opponent, and it's just another day in the job. You know, you're used to that feeling, and that's how it is.
This actually isn't that much unlike when DC fought Derek Lewis. You guys are about the same height. I think he's about an inch taller than you. You're both wrestlers, and it was a wrestler that was able to defeat Derek Lewis a couple of years ago in DC. So do you see any similarities between you two having that base, and then you also have good hands too? So, like, how do you feel that this fight compares with that?
I mean, there's always comparisons as a wrestlers, you know, same height and stuff, but in other ways, me and DC are totally different fighters. You know how we fight, so I didn't think too much about that fight when we're taking this fight. You know, I'm just preparing fighting Derek. You know, and he's a very complete fighter in that way. That he's a heavyweight, but a lot of people think that as a heavyweight he doesn't move so good. But if you see his fights, he loves doing some crazy stuff, you know, throwing some crazy kicks, and he's unpredictable. So, and he always comes to fight, you know. So, you know, as you evolve in this sport and fighting in this level, you learn more and more how to be strategic and fight. So, I think he is an MMA fighter, even though maybe he doesn't go for some submissions or stuff like that. He goes for the knockout. So, but there's a lot of fighters that do that.
Yeah. And so at this point in your career, moving up to heavyweight, you talked about yesterday how you had actually cut as much as 35 pounds before a fight. Was there an epiphany, kind of a moment that you had where you realized, okay, this is insane, cutting 35 pounds?
No, but just like I've been wrestling since I was 6 years, you know, and you know, after a while, the all the weight cuts take their toll on the body too, you know. So I just felt like it was getting harder and harder, and that's why I thought it was natural. I mean, in most sports, fighters later in their career they move up a weight because they put on more muscles or you know, gain weight. So yeah, it was just time. He's a top contender, you know. He's a top 5 contender in the heavyweight division, a division that has a lot of big and tough guys. So you know, it puts me up there in the spot.
Do you have any sort of prediction for this fight?
You know, I always try to go for the finish, you know, either by knockout or by submission. So let's see. You know, I have a lot of respect for Derek. You know, when I took this fight, it wasn't that I took it because I think it was an easy fight. I think he's a tremendous good fighter with a lot of heart. So it was more of the challenge, you know, and you know, people are interesting. They're hyped about the fight. It's a spectacular matchup.
The biggest thing about this whole fight has been like the amount of trolls that randomly came out. Like that's been like the most interesting part of this. You know, it's like the Jones fanboys are out in full effect because they're nervous, man. They want to see the super fight. You know, they want to see him fight Stipe. They want to see him fight Adesanya. They feel like Adesanya is striking Comanches. You know, everybody is somewhat overlooking me, but it's better for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. You were talking about trolls and how a lot of people are kind of coming out, and it seems like, you know, maybe the Jones fans are a little bit worried. I am also curious, though, is this maybe just part of that level of game? Because Jones has quite a few trolls of his own that he has to deal with. Is this just something that might be a part of it from now on?
I'm realizing, yes, that's just part of the game. The higher the profile fight, the more people have an opinion. You know, that's just, I realized that probably about a month ago. I was like, oh, this is the game. This is what I asked for. You know, when you get to this level, everybody's a critic. Everybody wants to tell you how to live your life and how to do things and how to speak and how to anything, any flaw that you might have, they try to bring it out and try to make you say, oh, Like, it's weird. Like, they want me to be like, oh, I have no chance. Who would say that? Like, I've been fighting my whole life, you know, and not just as a fighter, but I've been fighting, you know. Oh my God, it's funny. And I don't really, I just find it funny. It's just strange. It's strange. Like, there's so much hate and negativity, and it's like, is this the world we're living in? You know, it's kind of sad, really. It's not. It's less funny. It's more sad. I like. This is the world we're living in. But it is what it is. These are people that are just very, very cold and callous, and their lives have gone a certain way, or they want to watch the world burn. There are evil people out there. Like, I'm developing my game daily. You know, like, it's not like something that's like, this is exactly who I am. This is what I'm about. Yeah, my boxing is really good, and I hope he steps in the pocket and wants to box. You beat me at my game, please do that. But I don't think he's gonna do that. He's a smarter fighter than that. But if not, then he's gonna be on his back early. I mean, I live in the moment, and this is a huge moment. Like, why be all like? It's cool. Like, it's a cool moment. Like, I enjoy it, so I think it's important to enjoy life and enjoy the moment.